Tanashi.
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile video. This time I'll be showing you the changes and updates to my ThunDra deck. Please don't be too alarmed about the fact that I'm updating this deck of all things. After reviewing everything I have, and barring the changes to Called, there is nowhere near as much stuff to update as I thought there was going to be. I'm still gonna try, but I decided to go for decks that I could make changes to, and this one needed a bit of an overhaul. After Instant Fusion got hit down to 1, this deck's consistency using the Thunder Dragon engine plummeted. And I mean that literally, there was no consistency left. I never realized how much it relied on the 3 Instant Fusions. So I've cut the Thunder Dragon engine, rewound the deck back a bit to closer to how it used to be, and I even threw in a couple of old techs from a different Thunder deck entirely that have given this deck a bit of an easier way to play some of its brickier cards in better numbers. But you'll see what I mean when we take a closer look. Starting off with the monsters, we have a playset of Batteryman Solar. It sends a Thunder monster from the deck to the graveyard when summoned, and there's usually one target that I prefer to go for, and if another Thunder monster is summoned while it's faced upon the field, I get to special summon a Batteryman token. It doesn't really serve a major purpose other than being link material and a secondary body. A pair of Denko Sekka in lieu of normal back row handling. It cannot be special summoned, but while it's face up and I have no set cards in my back row, the opponent cannot set spell traps into their back row, nor can they activate any back row that they already have set. A pair of Lightning Rod Lord. I originally ran this at 1 because it kinda bricked hardcore in the hand, but I've kinda found a way around that. Neither player is able to activate spell cards during their main phase 1. Simple, short, and to the point. Next we move into the playset each of Hunter and Hunter. These guys have given me not only an extremely high number of playable bodies, but they've also allowed me to get some of the brickier monsters in my hand, out of my hand, without having to rely on discarding effects. The ironic part is that their effects are incredibly simple. As a soft once per turn, each one simply allows you to get an extra normal summon of a level 4 Light Thunder monster except for copies of themselves. A playset of Thunder King YuGiOh. While he's face up, neither player can add cards from the deck to the hand except by drawing them. Because of this, I've had to rely on heavy draw engines rather than direct searches, not that there were a lot of great search cards in Thunder types to start with, but it did give me some interesting ideas. I can also tribute him to negate the inherent special summon of any opponent's monster. Thunderclap Monk at 2. While I control him after he was successfully special summoned, which is literally the only reason I don't play him at 3, I can tribute him to negate any activated monster effect. And if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, regardless if he's been special summoned, he lets me special summon a Thunder monster out of my hand in defense mode. And one copy of Thunderclap Skywolf, who is the main drop target of Batteryman Solar. If I special summon him from the graveyard, all my opponent's monsters are destroyed, but during the turn I do this, I don't get a battle phase. Next we move into the spell cards. First off is a single copy of Broken Bamboo Sword, an ancient equipped spell that has the amazing effect of giving the equipped monster 0 attack. And no, that's not a joke, it's literally just in here for the name. The reason for that is partially because of Burning Bamboo Sword. See, while it's face up, if I play any Bamboo Sword card, including a copy of itself, which is why I run 2, I get to skip my opponent's next main phase 1. So many people have told me that this might be the most frustrating card in the entire build because I found out a neat little stipulation in the rulebook. See, if you skip your opponent's main phase 1 and they don't enter the battle phase, apparently their turn just ends. They either have to go into the battle phase to go into main phase 2, or they just skip right to their own end phase, and it's their choice. Another reason I play Broken is because I play 3 Cursed Bamboo Sword, who just like Broken, gives the equipped monster 0 attack points, but I can also bounce a Bamboo Sword card back to my hand to allow the equipped monster to get a direct attack this turn, and if the equipped spell goes to the graveyard, I get to search any Bamboo Sword card from my deck to my hand, except a copy of itself. A pair of Foolish Burial Goods, which is exclusively used to send Cursed Bamboo Sword from the deck to the graveyard, so I can get its search. I do wish I could play this at 3, but where it's a hard once per turn, it tends to be a brick. A pair of Golden Bamboo Sword. This is another one of those cards that I wish I could run at 3, but it's just a bit of a clunker. If I control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, I get to draw 2 cards. One Monster Reborn, staple in all my decks. A playset of Photon Sanctuary. First off, it's a non-once-per-turn spell that special summons a pair of level 4 Light Thunder tokens, and while those tokens can't attack or be used for tribute fodder, I can use them for link material. Now, I am not a fan of Pot of Desires, not because of the whole -10 versus +2 thing. I just have a personal vendetta against being disrespectful against the components of my deck, and deleting 10 cards, regardless if it's a plus or a minus, just feels disrespectful to me. I'm weirdly attached to my cards. But this might be the only deck I can think of that has so few combo pieces that it would not completely decimate its ability to play. A pair of Terminal World. I can only activate it during main phase 1, but while it's face up, neither I nor my opponent get a main phase 2. In conjunction with Burning Bamboo Sword skipping main phase 1, you can literally skip your opponent's entire turn so long as they don't run some generics like Evenly Matched or Twin Twister or Cosmic Cyclone. And a playset of Ties of the Brethren. By targeting a level 4 or lower monster I control and paying 2,000 life points, I can special summon 2 monsters from my deck with the same type, attribute, and level, but different names from each other and the monster that I targeted. But in addition to that, you also can't special summon for the rest of the turn, and you don't get a battle phase. Now since we don't run any trap cards, let's just slide right into the side deck. I'm still running a playset each of Dark Ruler No More, Herald of the Abyss, Solemn Johnson, Solemn Strike, and Solemn Warning. And finally, we finish up with the extra deck. First up is a pair of Bujintei Tsukuyomi. By detaching a material from it, I can send all cards in my hand to the graveyard, minimum 1, to draw 2 new cards. A pair of Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. If I have fewer cards in my hand and on my field total than my opponent does, detach a material and destroy all cards on the field except himself, but the opponent takes no damage for the turn that happens. And the best part is, I can activate it during my main phase or my opponent's battle phase. A pair of Light Dragon Adagnister. In addition to detaching materials to avoid destruction of my monsters, it also lets me destroy face-up monsters my opponent controls up to the number of Adagnister monsters I control. It's destruction that does not target. Starliege Paladynamo is the opposite. It can double detach to target an opponent's monster, and reduces attack to 0 and negate its effects. And if he happens to get destroyed, I get to draw a card. I also run a pair of Hippo Shenanigan. I was running this at 3, but it turned out to be a little too much. He boosts my light monsters by 500, which is fantastic since everything in the deck is light. And if he happens to be destroyed, I get to take back a light monster from my graveyard into my hand. Some Summer Summoner at 3. During my opponent's turn, I can discard a card to target and special summon any Thunder monster that isn't a link out of my graveyard to a zone that it points to. And finally, a pair of Thunder Dragon Thunderstormak. I so rarely get to play this card, but just like Light Dragon Adagnister, it offers protection for my entire board, because if any of my Thunder monster or monsters would be destroyed by battle or card effect, I can just banish any 3 cards out of my graveyard in its places. And that is the deck. Bamboo STUNder, and yes, you heard me right, that's what I'm calling it, has turned from one of my most hated decks to... okay, I can't even do that bit. It's still one of my most hated decks. It is everything that I despise in this game, being shut down of mechanics, skipping of entire turns, and not even getting a proper opportunity to do anything about your opponent's moves, culminated into one incredibly hateful pile of fuck you. But here's the weird part. I'm still getting compliments from people saying that A, the deck's stun structure is incredibly diverse and fun to look at, and B, it's instinctively preferred to lose to this rather than something like Omni-Negate Building Boards, or Mystic Mine, or even Dragoon. Oh god, I cannot tell you how many people said they prefer to lose to this over seeing someone play Dragoon. So I'm going to take that as a compliment and say that while I don't entirely enjoy using this deck against people, I can at least take solace in the fact that it is the lesser of the multitude of evils that we've had to deal with in this game over the last several years. I thank you guys for watching the deck profile video. If you can think of any ways that I can improve this all Thunder deck, in the main, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out.
Come on.